Hey there everybody, it's Nathan Kuhl with NathanKuhlPhoto.com, and in this video I want to share with you some tips that I've learned over the years on how to improve your photography and how you can do that right now. Now this isn't a matter of following the latest gear and going out and buying the latest and greatest thing, because that's not really always the best investment into you as a photographer. So one of the first things that I would suggest as to improve your photography and to do it right now is to not waste your time, but to invest your time. So time is our most valuable asset. And I go back to thinking about how my dad would do a lot of woodworking in the garage growing up. He didn't waste a lot of his time. He worked on certain skills. Yes, it was just a hobby, but he got really good at what he did. Wasting time today is very easy to do. You've got TV, you've got social media, you've got all kinds of things that can just distract you to sit down and veg out. That's one of the worst things that you can do. You're actually wasting your most precious investment, your most precious asset in life. So instead of wasting your time on things like that, think about investing your time. And this is an important point that I'd really like to drive home. Investing your time is just that. It's not just, I'm going to go ahead and now just spend more time doing photography, but these are investments into your future and also into your well-being. So if you find that you like watching television shows or being on social media for hours a day better than photography, then you might not be as driven to photography as you think you might be. But if you are, and you really are drawn to photography, like myself and so many other photographers are, then you have to realize that those other things are time wasters. They're taking you away and robbing your life and your time from doing what it is that you love the most. Now that doesn't mean that being a real estate photographer, for instance, like I am, that I would invest my time in doing nothing but just shooting real estate. It's a matter of doing other projects. Before I got into real estate, I did a lot of artistic stuff like this, where I would be shooting different models. I was finding them. I was able to shoot them even for free in the area and come up with a lot of things and challenge myself on what to do. That led into other work too. So not just because, oh, look what Nathan can do, let's see if he can shoot a house, but it improved my skills overall with whatever camera that I had at the time, whatever lights I had at the time, trying to come up. I'd fail so many times on trying to come up with something else that I would do until I got it right. And those were investments into my future, not just financially to be able to then make money being a real estate photographer, but also my own well-being, what I really like to do. So that's an important point with that. But we also have to realize that when it comes to investing your time, it's a matter of, well, how do you find time? And one of the ways to avoid that is to make sure that it is okay to be bored. Let me explain a little bit more. There's a lot of things today that can make it okay to be bored, and I know this from experience. And one of the biggest things I can tell anybody who wants to follow the arts, who wants to try to progress in anything that requires practice and dedication, is to stay sober. So pot, alcohol, those things make it okay to be bored. So you're bored after work, you do whatever. If you're smoking pot, you're having some drinks, whatever. Those things make you feel better. They will immediately give you that endorphin rush, that pleasure response, what do you want to call it, from serotonin and whatnot. So you're getting those dopamine and whatnot. You're getting those rewards from your mind for doing nothing. So it makes it okay to be bored. You can be bored and still have the same reward mechanism fire off in your brain, but when that wears off, there was nothing accomplished, so you lose then that high. If you're doing something in art, photography, music, whatever it is, and you can then see and appreciate your work later, it isn't just the time that you invested that can give you that dopamine, serotonin, endorphin rush, whatever, to give you those mental rewards. It's what follows afterwards. It's a long-lasting type of reward that you'll have. So it's okay to be bored. So don't rush to the things that would make you feel better because you're bored. Rush to the things that will give you a higher reward for being bored. So be bored and think to yourself, what could I do? Let's see, oh, you know what? I might not be that good at flash ambient blending. Well, grab your camera, grab your lights, go to a room in your house, try some stuff, throw it away. All you need to do is try. You're not so sure about how to do something in Photoshop? Sit down for an hour some night instead of watching television and try to figure out that particular problem that you're not that good on. These are the type of things that will immediately start making you a better photographer. So don't just veg out. Think about investing that time more wisely. The last piece of advice that I want to give everybody that is in photography is shoot everything. I don't just do real estate photography. I do a lot of hiking. I surf. I like to be at the beach. I like to be out on the hikes, out in nature, and I bring a camera with me. So I like to be able to capture footage. Now, I might secretly to myself say, well, you could use that for B-roll or so for some community shots. But quite honestly, it's really just for the pleasure of doing it. I even do 360s with DSLRs as I'm on hikes. That strengthens my skill doing those 360 tours for real estate also, but it's just a lot of fun. It also allows me to conquer some of my difficulties by saying you'll have all this footage, you're not as stressed that you had to rush through a house or whatever shoot that you were working on. This was for fun. You can throw the footage away later if you want, so there's less stress. It opens up your mind to be able to go, let me try this instead. Oh man, I made a mistake on that. You won't feel as bad because there's no money on the table for it. So you need to go out and shoot other things. And it's not just going out necessarily like on hikes and stuff like that. Challenge yourself with something very difficult. If you're not used to doing video, try doing some video work. If you're not used to doing 360s, you can do that with just about any camera. And I've got a video here on my channel to show how you can do that with just about any lens and any camera. But whatever it is, even if it's just standard photography, break out some flash, try to do some art stuff with it, get into macro photography. Try to think of all the genres of photography that there are that you can work with. One of the sad points that happened over the last few years was the end of popular photography. And there is popphoto.com. But I used to love every month getting that Pop Photo magazine in the mail and be able to open that up and see all the different stuff that other people were shooting and looking at that and going, you know, I'd like to try that. And they'd have little tips along the way. Nowadays, the internet is riddled with all kinds of stuff. So there's always something that you can find. Try to reverse engineer it if possible and take that on as a new project, something fun. You got to keep that photo skills showing. And there's something that I say at the end of every video, that's get out there and shoot something. And I mean that, I really mean that, because you need to keep shooting. You need to keep doing photography. If you're into real estate photography or some other genre strictly for the money, then you'll never improve as a photographer. You might improve your revenue somehow, but you can improve your revenue while also improving your quality of life and pursue the dreams and the desires that you have by getting good at photography itself for the love of photography. As they say, do what you love, the money will follow. To some extent, that's true, because if you do what you love and you practice and you practice and you invest your time wisely, you will get a return of that investment and eventually make money from that. Anyways, those are my tips to immediately what you can do right now, and as this old man with grandchildren now has learned over these years of shooting photography. And I really hope this will help you build your photography career, or even just your pursuit for art and your passion for just photography in itself. If you did like this video, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It won't cost anything, and as soon as one of these videos is posted, you'll be the first to know. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take care, be safe, and get out there and shoot something.